Player ratings then, Everton 5, Tottenham Hotspur 4 at Goodison Park. Carlo Ancelotti's Everton into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. An absolute roller coaster of a game again. Second crazy game within the space of a couple of days or so. Everton going 3-1 up in the first half, completely against anybody's thoughts. Tottenham pulling it back to 3-3 in the second half, getting the fourth, and then bringing it back to 4-4, and then Carlo Ancelotti coolly sips his tea, or bovril, or coffee, whatever beverage it was, but it was hot, as Bernard puts in a hot finish to make it 5, and yeah, what a mad, crazy game of football that was. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Robin Olsen, have given him an 8 today. I think he made some absolutely excellent saves in that first half to really keep Tottenham at bay. There was a period, like I said it in the instant match reaction, I don't think there was a massive period of time where Tottenham were throwing everything at us and you know, were really in control of the game. I think considering it was a game that had 9 goals in it, I think a lot of the goals were through defensive errors, and you know, it wasn't really an end-to-end game, I wouldn't say. I think Everton took control, and Everton were that team that, you know, went to get the next goal and were always wanting to get, you know, in front, and it was just through silly mistakes that we didn't. But I don't think they were particularly silly mistakes from Robin Olsen. Like I said, I thought he was really solid. Certainly in that first half, there was 2 or 3, 4 occasions where he made some really big saves to keep Tottenham at bay and ultimately to keep Everton in the game at that point, because, you know, there was a couple he made at 1-0 to Spurs, there was a couple he made at 1-1 as well, which, you know, just before we scored the second, which would have, you know, meant the momentum would have went to Spurs. It's questionable as to whether he can do better on any of the goals. I mean, when you concede 4 goals as a goalkeeper and you give him an 8 out of 10, it's probably a bit questionable, and I'm sure some of you might disagree with me on that one. Maybe he could have commanded the area a little bit more, maybe he could have been a little bit more vocal in terms of the defence and moving them out, but ultimately I think every goal we conceded was pretty much the same: a ball into the box and it wasn't defended and it went in the back of the net, and I think that's more on Yerry Mina and Michael Keane than Robin Olsen, so he's getting an 8. Luca Dean have given him a 7.5. Thought he was really solid today. Going forward, didn't do an amazing amount defensively. We did allow a lot of balls into the box from both sides, but I thought Luca Dean individually put in a really solid performance. Like I said, going forward, he was exceptional. He was getting forward, he was playing balls into the box. His passing was really good as well, combined with Richarlison on a couple of occasions. And again, usual good performance, really good performance by Luca Dean. Like I said, I think defensively maybe he could have done a little bit more to stop the balls coming into the box, but overall I thought he put in a decent performance, so he's getting a 7.5. Michael Keane, I've given him a 6.5. Again, you might think it's a little bit harsh. He had a couple of chances to score, a couple of headers, one where he absolutely should do better, and you'd put your money on him doing better. He's free and he jumps and he heads towards goal, and Lloris makes the save, and another one in the second half, in extra time actually, where it was after we'd scored the 5th and we had the chance to score the 6th, and he jumps and he heads it wide. But just defensively today, I thought him and Yerry Mina really struggled early to keep Tottenham Hotspur at bay. When those balls were coming into the box, we weren't dealing with them well whatsoever. On the floor, we were okay, and we got a lot better at extra time. I think Carlo had said to the lads at full time, look, stop conceding stupid goals, stop allowing them to get back into the game. So I think defensively in extra time, we got a lot better, and they did try and put a couple of balls over the top into the box, and they either went out or they were dealt with. But I think during the game, Michael Keane didn't have his greatest the game, certainly not when dealing with balls coming in, and certainly not when dealing with set pieces as well. So I've given him a 6.5. Yerry Mina's getting a 7. He'd probably be on the same score as Michael Keane, only it's been boosted by that incredible block in extra time where we actually countered, and Gylfi Sigurdsson had the chance to get a second of the game for himself, but Yerry Mina completely froze himself, completely froze his body in way of the goal. And look, it's really difficult because we've won 5-4. It's an excellent result. Defensively, it wasn't an excellent performance, so it's really difficult to sit here and give, you know, not great scores when we've went and scored 5 goals and progressed into the next round of the FA Cup. But I just thought, again, Yerry Mina today, you expect a lot more from him, certainly in the air. Look, we were all crying for him to come back into this team after the game against Manchester United, where we conceded a couple of stupid goals. The first one coming in aerially and it's not dealt with, and Scott McTominay's isn't dealt with either, and we were all crying for Yerry Mina to come back in, and I think Yerry Mina's been very solid defensively this season, and certainly when dealing with balls in the air. But again today, I don't think he had a great game of it. I think every ball Spurs put into the box, he was sort of worrying, and said that in the instant match reaction, Spurs weren't really worrying me today in terms of putting pressure on us or coming at us or flying at us. It was just every time they got a set piece, and usually 9 times out of 10 you put your house on Yerry Mina and Michael Keane to deal with every set piece that comes into the box, but today they struggled. So I'm giving Yerry a 7, a little bit of a boosted for his block at an extra time, but I do think he could have done better with a lot of those aerial balls into the box. Ben Godfrey's getting an 8. Again, struggled to keep, balls coming into the box out today, but ultimately the lad's just put in a performance where he's played left back, right back, centre back. He's played everywhere across that back line, and even in the 98th minute, deep into extra time, he doesn't stop running, and he's beating players for pace, he's beating Son for pace, he's beating Kane. I thought he put in a really solid performance today, and look, he worked hard. We spoke to Kevin Campbell a little bit earlier on the podcast. If you haven't seen it, please do check it out. And Kev said about how, Evertonians don't expect you to go out and win every game. They don't expect you to blow every team away. But what they do expect is hard work. And the minimal they expect is 110% for that shirt. And I think Ben Godfrey gave it 110% for that shirt today. Defensively, was he excellent? Personally, could have done a little bit better with stopping balls coming into the box from that left-hand side of Spurs. But ultimately, he didn't stop running, he didn't give up, he didn't stop defending, he didn't stop throwing his body on the line, so he's getting an 8. Abdoulaye Doucouré is getting a 9. He's going to be a name that a lot of people will have as man of the match today. He was absolutely everywhere throughout the entirety of the game, be it in the midfield, picking the ball up and bringing us forward, be it picking the ball up from the edge of our defensive area and bringing it forward, attacking in the box, throwing balls into the area. He was everywhere, and like I've just said about Ben Godfrey, this lad doesn't stop running. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've just seen him run past ours on the way home there to wherever he's living, because he's just absolutely exceptional. The energy that lad has got is just beyond anything that's even comprehensible. Again, another player who continue to give it 110% and carry on running his arse off deep into extra time. And Everton's fitness issues have been called into question at times this season through certain performances and certain results, and maybe at times when the players haven't really given it 110%, we've mistaken that for fans as they've been tired or they haven't really been up to it physically. And that those fitness issues, like I said, have come into question. And obviously, the injury list is becoming longer and longer again now as we're seeing players come back like Alan. James Rodriguez has picked up a knock. We don't know how long he'll be out for. Hopefully not long. Obviously Dominic Calvert-Lewin was forced off with a knock. Hopefully that's not too serious. But again, I don't think that's anything that you can question today. Certainly from that midfield, Tom Davies, Abdoulaye Doucouré, and even Gylfi Sigurdsson, to be fair, I think the energy of that central midfield cannot be overlooked because they were all brilliant. And Abdoulaye Doucouré did not stop running from minute 1 to minute 120, and he was playing mad passes across the box, but he's just exceptional. He was absolutely exceptional today, so he's getting a 9 out of 10. Tom Davies, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10, and I challenge anybody watching this video, whether you like Tom Davies or not, whether you think he's good enough or not, find me one bad thing Tom Davies did today, because honestly I haven't seen the stats yet, but I'll be surprised if that lad hasn't got at least 95% passing accuracy, because I can't remember him misplacing a pass. I can't remember him putting the ball out. He won every tackle he needed to win. He gave fouls away in the right areas when he knew he wouldn't be able to get the ball back. He won the ball back in dangerous areas. He was calm, he was cool, he was composed. He just done everything with such composure. It was like he was so confident, and we know how good of a player Tom Davies can be when he's playing with confidence, and he was playing today like he hadn't listened to any critics. He wasn't worried about his performances, and he is obviously being given a lot of confidence by Carlo Ancelotti. And this is what I'm saying when I'm talking about in videos, just being not careful, because everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and if somebody thinks a player hasn't had a good performance, then go out and say it. That's why I do these videos, that's what I do. But in Carlo Ancelotti constantly picking Tom Davies, the same with Gylfi Sigurdsson, it's the same with Andre Gomez before he come into his good run of form. With Carlo Ancelotti constantly picking these players, it's clear that Carlo believes that they're good enough, and Carlo believes they're doing a good enough job. And we can sit here till the cows come home and talk about how Tom Davies mightn't be a good enough footballer to take Everton forward, blah, blah, blah. But one thing Carlo Ancelotti's clearly doing is saying to Tom, yeah, you're good enough, you've been brilliant recently, I've been absolutely pleased with you, you've been exceptional, keep doing what you're doing, keep working hard. And what are we seeing? We're seeing good performance after after good performance after good performance. Well, today we seen a great performance by Tom Davies. It was a 10 out of 10, and I don't care, but you can give me stick, you can give me slack. It was a 10 out of 10. He was exceptional. He was everywhere on the pitch. Every pass he made was brilliant. Again, much like the pass at Old Trafford for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to set up the Corey's goal, he played a couple of really menacing passes through the middle of the park today to get us on our way and to get us attacking. He also wasn't afraid to try, passes. There was one where I think he tried to pin it through the eye of a needle to Dominic Calvert-Lewin and it didn't come off, but I don't mind that. I don't mind Tom Davies making those passes that, maybe don't come off because he's taking risks, and ultimately, as long as he's not taking risks in the wrong areas, then, I don't mind that whatsoever. The lad's playing with utter confidence and he was exceptional today. Absolutely exceptional. He was everywhere, so he's getting a 10 out of 10. Gylfi Sigurdsson, a little bit of a weird one to mark Gylfi, because I actually think he's at fault for 2 of our goals conceded. I think he's at fault for the first one because he just completely isn't having his eyes on the ball and he's worried more about having a wrestling match with Davinson Sanchez, and he's at fault for Davinson Sanchez's second one, where again he's more worried about putting him on his arse and pinning him and hoping that The Rock runs in with a WWE title than actually just defending the corner. But you look at it from that standpoint and you think Gylfi is being slightly poor defensively or quite poor defensively, and then you go the other end of the pitch and the lads had 3 assists and scored a penalty and being involved with 4 out of 5 goals today, and it's sort of just like you don't know. He's getting a 9 out of 10 because ultimately a lad that, again, like I said, has 4 goal contributions, 3 assists and a goal in a game where you've scored 4 goals. Even though he may have been at fault defensively, and I don't think it was just him. I think he could have been helped by Yerry Mina and Michael Keane being a little bit more demanding, maybe Robin Olsen being a little bit more demanding. Going forward, he was that creative spark that we absolutely needed. Absolutely. There was a lot of fear today when obviously James Rodriguez was ruled out injured, of where our creativity was going to come from, where we were going to create chances from, but Gylfi Sigurdsson stepped up. That ball for Bernard for the winning goal is just absolutely exceptional. It's pitch perfect. It's absolutely pitch perfect. It's a brilliant chip over, and you know what? If that was James Rodriguez who plays that pass, we're all sitting here for about 4 days afterwards lauding him, and rightly so, because it's an excellent pass. So I think we have to do the same for Gylfi Sigurdsson. Again, another really couple of good balls in to help to be involved with the other goals, and scored the penalty. Didn't win the penalty, Dom won the penalty, but it was an excellent touch to play in Dom in the first place by Gylfi, and scored the penalty coolly. So Gylfi's getting a 9 today. Again, really solid performance. Alex Iwobi, I've given him a 6.5. Again, quite disappointed with him. There was a couple of occasions where he drove with players and he tried to put the ball in the box and he won corners for us in good part of the game, but I don't think he had his greatest of games today, to be honest with you. And maybe you disagree. I just expected a little bit more directness from Alex Iwobi. I expected him to get at players a little bit more. I expected him to trouble Tottenham Hotspur's defence a little bit more than he did. And I don't particularly think he struggled as such. I just don't think it was his greatest of games, and I don't think he was massively involved with any of our forward play. I think he got the assist for Richarlison's second goal, which could have been a foul, but it's a really good assist, to be fair. So maybe he deserves a little bit of a boosted mark for that. But again, I just don't think it was his greatest game. But he did okay. He wasn't awful. He did okay. I just don't think he was a highlight of it. In fact, you know what? I'll give him a 7. I'll boost it up to a 7 for that involvement in the Richarlison goal. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, giving him an 8. Fantastic goal. Should Lloris do better? Don't care. Not my goalkeeper, so I don't care. I think Dom takes it really, really well. It's an excellent volley. We've been calling for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to do better in those type of situations, and I think he done absolutely exceptional today. He hits it with such venom, such power, such menace, and okay, Lloris maybe could do better, but let's be honest, it's at him at that fast that I'm surprised Lloris didn't rustle into the back of the net with it. It was just like when Thor launches his hammer at someone and it just goes thump straight. You're just going with the ball, mate, so don't even bother trying. Obviously went off, which is disappointing, and the hope is that it's not a serious injury. The hope is that Dom can move forward, and hopefully he was taken off as a precautionary measure. We played the majority of the game without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, considering it went to extra time, and we done fantastically well without Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But let's be perfectly honest with ourselves, we cannot go a sustained period of games without Dominic Calvert-Lewin in this Everton team, because he is our outlook for 99% of the goals that we score. And obviously we'll talk about Richarlison in a moment to come back into form, but I hope that Carlo took him out to basically say, look, if you're feeling any sort of injury, you're coming out, because we can't afford to go and play Fulham without you. We can't afford to play City or Liverpool without you. So that's the hope. But again, Dom took his goal really, really well today. Worked hard as well, so he's getting an 8. And Richarlison is getting a 9.5. Again, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Richarlison, Tom Davies, all in that bracket. Either three of them could get man of the match. The three of them could get man of the match. Richarlison sat here. I'm not taking credit for it, by the way, because I'm just a fan that probably most players, including Richarlison, doesn't listen to. But we sat here and we said we have to back Richarlison, because Richarlison will get back to form in the next couple of weeks or so. Richarlison will be back to the Richarlison that we know and love, and boy was he back to the Richarlison that we know and love today. An absolutely exquisite first goal. It's a great flick by Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He takes it wide, and just when you think he might have taken that a little bit too wide there, he cuts it across the box. Nothing Lloris can do about it. It's an exceptional finish, and then again in the second half to make it 4-3. Alex Iwobi does really well to Russell with it. Richarlison gets it on his left foot, and it's a fantastic finish. And like I said, Richarlison is back. That's the Richie that we know and love. Also, not just on the goals, didn't stop working his arse off for 120 plus minutes today. Had to adopt his role a little bit when Don went off. I think he went a little bit more centrally, and Coleman went on the right hand side. But again, absolutely brilliant today. Work rate wise, it's never in question, but his finishing has been in question recently, and today you can't question it. He was pinpoint, absolutely pinpoint. 2 goals for our Brazilian magic man, and hopefully that's the start of a real confidence boost now for Richie, and hopefully we see him go and get another couple against Fulham at the weekend. So he's getting a 9.5 out of 10. Onto the substitutes then. Seamus Coleman's getting an 8.5. Really impressed with Seamus Coleman when he come on. Adopted more of an attacking role, which we haven't seen a lot of since he's been an Everton player. In the 10 plus years he's been an Everton player. But I thought he was really, really solid at doing that today. Got forward on a couple of occasions, put a couple of really good balls into the box, and ultimately, when he needed to, he calmed it down. And that's what you get from Seamus Coleman, is in periods of a game. And maybe sometimes that's why when Seamus starts, it's not the best, because, you know, he calms games down when he don't need to be calmed down. But today, certainly in extra time, after we'd scored that 5th goal, that's what we needed. We need a player who's just going to calm it down, don't do anything silly, and don't give the ball away. And that's Seamus's experience there, and that's why he's getting an 8.5 from me today, because his experience there has told him, don't give the ball away here. We're 5 minutes, 10 minutes away from winning this game. Don't do anything stupid. So he's getting an 8.5. Bernard's getting an 8. I was literally about 2 minutes away from tweeting, what has Bernard done since he's come on here? What's he done? He hasn't affected the game. And what does he do? He goes and scores the winning goal. Albeit it's an excellent ball by Gylfi Sigurdsson to put an absolute play for Bernard. But Bernard still has to do the hard work. It's a tight angle. It's on his left foot, and he buries it perfectly, absolutely perfectly, into that bottom right-hand corner of Lloris. Like I said, Lloris, like I said, quite a similar goal to Richarlison's, and Carlo Ancelotti calmly takes a sip of his brew, and Everton win the game from that. So yeah, Bernard's getting an 8 again. You know, we can talk all we like about not having enough impact subs, and we don't have enough impact subs, and the bench today was disappointing, to say the least. You know, we could have had 9 substitutes on the bench. I think we started with 6, maybe even 7, and 2 of them were goalkeepers. So Bernard was the only real attacking option to come on and change the game, and he come on and won the game for us. So you've got to give him props for that. And then Mason Holgate, have given him a 7. Come on, showed the game up a little bit, won a couple of defensive headers as well. Just sort of solidified that defensive role a little bit more, and when we went far at the back to see the game out. And Carlo Ancelotti, look, Carlo's getting a 10. A, because I love him. B, because under no previous Everton manager do we go on and win that game. Under no previous Everton manager do we concede 2 for Tottenham to pull it back and still go on and score again, then concede again and still go on to win the game. And no manager watches their team score a 5th goal in extra time to win your game and just blows on your tea, as if all you're asked about is the fact that you've just nearly burnt your mouth out. The fella is cool as you like, and that's why he's won so many trophies. That's why he's won so much silverware, and that's why he didn't have a reaction today, because he's experienced and he's been there and he's done it before, and he knocked out a manager who's very experienced. He didn't knock out a no-mark Tottenham team. He knocked out a good Tottenham team who put 4 past us, but we managed to put 5 past them. So yeah, they are the player ratings. Let me know if you have enjoyed the video. Massive thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out the instant match reaction, which is of course up now. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, game review will be out tomorrow. We did upload our 3rd episode of the Park End podcast with Kevin Campbell earlier on tonight, so if you haven't checked that out, it's a nice little hour's worth of entertainment before you go to bed to calm yourself down from that performance and result today. Madness, absolutely madness. Another roller coaster ride for Everton Football Club, but this time it ends in a massive win. Everton are through to the quarter-final of the FA Cup. We'll find out who we play tomorrow night when the draw is taking place. So yeah, big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.